Good afternoon, everybody, or good morning, or good evening, depending upon where you are in the world. We're going to give it just a few moments to allow for the community to come together. And then we're looking forward to spending an hour giving you a bit of an update here from Providence and College Hill, Jewish Life at Brown and RISD. So let's just give it a moment. If you're not muted, love to ask everyone to mute themselves, or maybe we can mute everyone. I'm going to go ahead and mute everyone. And great. We had over 150 folks register for the call from around the world. So going to give it just another minute and then we'll jump in. Last time we had this call in August, we had 200 folks register and about 100 of us joined. So I guess if 150 registered, we should be looking at a community of 75 or so here. Let's see if that plays itself out. But I'm glad to see everyone this evening. I hope everyone is well, wherever you might find yourself out there in the world. Give it one more minute. I know that most people keep their cameras off, but it's so nice to see you. You know, it's so nice to see you. Nancy Hoods, nice to see you. Nice to see everyone. Okay. So just give it 30 more seconds and we're going to jump right in. Okay. Again, if we haven't had the chance to connect, my name is Rabbi Josh Bolton. I'm the executive director here at Brown RISD Hillel in Providence, Rhode Island. It is such a pleasure to be with you all this evening, spend 45 minutes, an hour together. And I want to give special, welcome to my colleague, Rabbi Mendel Laufer of Chabad of College Hill, who is across Olive Street from me. We refer to ourselves as the Olive Street Fellowship, across the Jewish community from one side of Olive Street to the other. And of course, I want to welcome and say thank you to Molly Goldmeyer, managing director here at Brown RISD Hillel. Am I pinned? I just want to make sure I'm going to jump in. Okay, great. So we are recording, so we'll be able to share this with everyone after the fact. Good evening, everyone, or good afternoon, or good morning, wherever you are in the world. It's a pleasure to be with you all. What we have in mind for the next 45 minutes, an hour, is to give you a bit of an update, a bit of a pre-holiday update from Jewish life here at Brown and RISD. Seems like every single day brings with it a little bit more news, a little bit more information. And I hope that folks have been appreciating that we have really tried to communicate as much as possible over this past month, trying to get you all a sense of things from here on campus, at least weekly, sometimes more than weekly. And of course, everyone should always feel welcome and invited to just be in touch with us. If you have questions about what's going on here, send myself an email, send Mendel, Molly an email. We're here, we're on the front line. We look forward to being in touch with you. I'm going to begin with just a few moments of reflections, then I'm going to hand it over to my colleague, Rabbi Mendel. And we also are, this evening, we're going to give an opportunity to get a little bit of a program update, both in terms of what September has looked like and what the holidays and our plans for October 7th and beyond look like. We're going to have the chance to hear from a number of students who are up to some really fascinating high power projects that we want to share with you all. And we're also going to get a chance to hear from Rabbi Jonah Weiner, who's the senior Jewish educator here at Hillel, and get a little bit of a picture into Jewish learning here on campus. The chat has been set so that you can communicate directly with Molly and myself. We are hoping that we'll have a Q&A toward the end of the session. Many of you submitted questions in advance, and that's really what we're basing this presentation on. So I apologize for domestic sounds in the background if that's dog barking. It's been a really, I want to begin by saying this. It has really been a remarkable start to the year in many, many levels. And I think that my colleagues and the students that we get to see day in, day out have referred to this past month as really a very strong reset. Students have come back. The energy is very positive. There's a desire for a strong level of engagement. Folks are really filled with joy and looking for joy, looking for Jewish joy. And so I think that it's important to name that the Jewish life experience on campus today is very, very different than from 6 months ago or before that. And that's really important for us to name and to put out there because, it's important to contextualize this. We went through such a challenging year, and yet here, the 4 weeks, 5 weeks in, the sense is that things are really great, really energized. There's a number of different metrics that you can really look at. I think that one of the clearest ones, if you come and if you've been able to join us for Shabbat on Friday nights, we will sometimes have 200 plus students at Hillel. We will sometimes have 100 students, more maybe at Chabad. I mean, really the energy of the Friday night experience is something unique. And I've been on many, many college campuses and doing this work and as a student, and I really have to say that something very special is taking place right now in terms of Jewish life on College Hill, and we should all be very proud of that, and we should all be interested in continuing to nurture and sustain that into the season to come. I also want to say two or three, a few additional pieces. Number one, there's no doubt that we are incredibly, incredibly proud of students who have stepped up in so many ways as activists, and I say that word with a little bit looseness to it. Pro-Israel students who have been bringing pro-Israel voices to campus, the remarkable students who committed dozens and dozens of their personal hours to write presentations to the ACRM committee, to present in front of that committee, to write memos for that committee. I mean, we see also Israel leadership on campus just acting in a very, I would say, without any reactivity and jumpiness. They have defined the goals of what they want to achieve, and they've gone out and they've begun to achieve that on this campus. And you can really feel kind of the quality of that leadership and the significance of that leadership day in and day out. I also want to say, of course, that we are, realistic about the outcomes of this process and realistic about the outcomes of this divestment piece, which I know is on so many folks' minds. Maybe you saw, maybe you didn't, but today President Paxton announced that she would not be releasing the findings or the recommendation of the ACRM committee until the corporation votes on divestment in later October. And, we all feel very, very confident that the university will reject divestment in a principled, strong manner. I think that her decision to keep hold on the results of that committee process is wise and will keep the campus a certain level of enmity lowered on the campus and good for the Jews as we go into the holiday season. We're realistic about, the expectations, meaning, will it turn out that the ACRM committee will have recommended divestment? Maybe. Will we be able to know if it's a split vote? We don't know. But one thing we are absolutely confident is that students have shown a manner of leadership that is really exemplary, and I think has set the bar of what Jewish student activism looks like on campuses around the country. One of the reasons why I know that is because once these documents and these presentations were made, we got inundated from our colleagues around the country saying, can you help us understand how you supported the students in the way that you did? Can you please share with us the material that was created that you submitted to the university? The Brown Jewish community should be very proud of what its students have accomplished and very proud of the support that you all have given in order to enable the students to get to where they did. We are obviously concerned about what happens if and when the corporation will vote against divestment. And we are planning for a number of possible outcomes in terms of anti-Israel activism on campus. I want everyone for the sake of this call to know that we remain in really profoundly close conversation with our partners in the administration, both in terms of leadership on the level of President Paxson, on the level of student life, but also we've been really growing our partnership with Department of Public Safety here and Chief Chapman, who is the head of that department. And so we are looking out at those weeks, to come and planning for and being thoughtful about both how we're going to communicate to the world, wow, what a moment this is that the university has so profoundly rejected this motion, but also what we are going to do in order to support students and continue to build community on the other side of that outcome. In the meantime, we walked into this semester with a kind of a mandate and a plan to make sure that there was a lot going on Jewishly, that students were able to find many landing pads to connect with Jewish life, to connect with friends, to explore, to learn, to discover spirituality, arts, and culture. And 4 or 5 weeks in, whatever it is, if you haven't perused our Instagram page lately or just been paying attention, there is a lot going on. It's very exciting. Every single evening, every single day, Brown RISD Hillel, Chabad are filled with students, and Jewish life is taking place outside of the campus, outside of our physical centers at the corner of Olive, Angel, and Brown Streets as well. So it's been a very robust start to the year. As I've been describing to many folks, it really feels like there's a very, very thick layer of Jewish joy and engagement that has been built up over the past month. And this is really markedly different from the feelings that we had 6, 7, 8 months ago, in which there was a real sense of vulnerability for our community. Today, you can really get a sense that I don't think that the crises that we may face in the next 2, 3, 4 weeks are going to have much capacity to disable that layer of joy and engagement that exists today. And so we're going to keep on focus on building that, and Molly will share a little bit about how we're doing that. But it's I want everyone to know that we feel very optimistic, while at the same time we are very cautious and working very, very thoughtfully with all of our partners to ensure student safety is looked out after, security, joy, well-being on all of the levels. So I want to pass it to, I always like to say, this is my 6th year here on campus. Rabbi Mendel Laufer is, believe it or not, is only 3 or 4 years older than me, but has been here 20 years. And I'm not even going to mention how many children he has, but I want to hand it over to Rabbi Laufer for his reflections.
Thank you, Rabbi Bolton, for those very, very kind words. And I have to say that, as you mentioned, over 20 years, we're beginning our 23rd year here on College Hill. And there's a reason why there's such vibrancy that continues to grow in the Jewish community here. And it's been such a pleasure to be able to work together with you, Josh, and everything that's going on here, and taking the leadership and seeing such phenomenal, beautiful moments here. I do want to echo pretty much everything you said, beginning with the fact that we've seen that positive, beautiful beginning of the year. I know for Chabad, for those who've been following us, we've moved spaces this year to 2 doors down, so we have a new space. Being that we're in the process of renovating our regular space, so we need to move out, the full renovation there. But one of the blessings we've had in our new space is that we have a beautiful yard, and we've been able to take advantage of that. And we've seen a lot of beautiful moments in that space. Some of you may know that there's some very large spring weekend parties that took place in that space in previous years, so the students know about it. in another context. So we're bringing a great party for Jewish life, a lot of joy, like you say, Josh, all the time, but in a good way here, with a different twist to it, so to speak. But so just seeing the positive energy, knowing where we came from last year, knowing where the community's been heading in the past several years already, 6 or 7 years in particular, has just been a great energizer for us. We've been here so many years to really get engaged and be inspired. In terms of you mentioned the students in the ACRM committee, and particularly, I'm of course, we're all extremely grateful to President Paxton for her leadership and what she's done today in terms of saying that the announcement will not be made till later. It's brought a lot of peace of mind for many of the students. I've heard from them for as we go into Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, which is a real blessing, and I was of course delighted to hear that. And I do want to put things in context a little bit over here. Being that we're here for 23 years, a lot of the anti-Israel rhetoric and moments of uncomfortability for the students have been going on since I got here in different frameworks and different moments. It's gotten it has gotten a little bit out of hand, particularly last year. But I think if we look in the long term, if we recognize the growth of the community, the strength of the community as we move forward, there's such energy here. And I tell this to many people who've come by. Some of you have heard from me that hearing about what's going on in camp, like, oh, and then you come here and you come for a Shabbos and you see hundreds of kids engaging, and it's so vibrant. I'm just thinking, both in Hillel and Chabad, but particularly we had the Olive Street Shabbos. Josh, I don't know if you mentioned the Olive Street Shabbos when we came together, and you had 300 students packed into a room for Kiddush, from all different, flavors, backgrounds, and political persuasions, talking about a unity of a community, talking about a moment of beauty and what to celebrate and what we should be proud of, and the strength that will overcome. We may see some challenges, later in October, depending on how as the announcement of we have the cooperation with we hope will be in the proper way. I think the community over it has a strength to it for long term, like you said, and so many students over here feel empowered and strengthened, and are not challenged by what's going on. I just want to end with a very short moment, a Chabad moment here. So for those who are following up close to what's going on, yesterday there was a demonstration, anti-Israel, a protest or demonstration outside of the Green, which was good to see. It wasn't on university space, and some students were gathering around on the other side to try to make a little bit of a presence. And my son Shneur Zalman, a 13-year-old who is always very excited to go out and help students do the mitzvah of tefillin, as soon as he heard about that, he said, "Can I go out?" I said, "No problem." Of course, he was not afraid because he's seen this before a number of times. He took out his tefillin and he was out there for 45 minutes. And he said and all this time that he went out, he's never had so much success. Nonstop, one after another, students approaching him, help me with the mitzvah, people, students that he knew, students that he did not know. He couldn't stop till he had to leave. He had to go back to his studies. So I think there's a contrast here. On one hand, we're hearing noise. On one hand, we're seeing tremendous sense of Jewish pride and engagement, and we should be very, very inspired by that. So I want to wish everyone a Shana Tov, a good and sweet year. And Josh, I'll hand it back to you.
Thank you, Rav Mendel. I'm actually going to pass it, I believe, to Molly Goldmeyer, who is going to give us a bit of a perspective tour on some of the programming that has been and will be. Molly?
Awesome. Thank you. Hi, everyone. It's so wonderful to be together tonight. If I haven't met you yet, my name is Molly Goldmeyer. I'm the managing director here. And what I do is really ensure that our program calendar is animated and reflective of all the diverse student interests and passions. And so for the past few months, I've been working to really create a very robust and strong welcome to the year. Last time we spoke, I shared a little bit about how we were welcoming the freshmen, and I want to take you into these first few weeks of the semester. So give me just one moment while I share my screen. Awesome. Can everybody see the slides? Okay, thanks, Josh, for the thumbs up. Well, it's been, as you've heard, it's been a very strong and exciting start to the school year. Here's some photos of just the welcoming new freshmen, and just felt like the building is really just full of positive energy, full of new students, people reconnecting with old friends. And so it's been a very, very strong start. And both Rabbi Josh and Rabbi Mendel spoke about this really wonderful Olive Street Shabbat that we had a few weeks ago. And I just want to share a picture of that because it really captures the essence of what we're talking about. Just so many different students being in one space, feeling excited to be Jewish, bringing their friends. This is just one of the spaces where we had Olive Street Shabbat. We also had our tent upstairs overflowing with students and our Beit Midrash. And as I was walking around the space, it just felt like students were pulling chairs from any room just to be engaged in Shabbat with friends. And we had over 250 people there, lots of new faces and lots of people bringing their friends and just saying, you know, this is a place that feels special to me. And we were also excited to host 40 prospective students that weekend for a Shabbaton. And, you know, so many students reflected back to us, you know, you hear about what's going on college campuses, and then you come to Brown, you walk into dinner on a Friday night, and you're just so blown away by the strong Jewish energy. And we really felt like we could share with these prospective students how much is going on here and how fantastic it is to be Jewish at Brown. So just wanted to share that with you as we begin to talk about what's going on the next few weeks. And when I say next few weeks, I mean tomorrow. We're celebrating the Jewish New Year tomorrow night. We've been talking about October like it's going to be a few months away, but we're here now. And so we have a very, very beautiful few days up ahead. We've got song leaders coming in to energize our services. We're going to start our high holidays with candle lighting with the mayor. He's going to be coming to Brown RISD Hillel to light the candles tomorrow evening. We're really excited about spreading the Jewish ambiance all around campus. Our services are going to take place in locations all around campus. So we've got services in the Crystal Ballroom, the Alumni Auditorium. We have stuff in the chapel here. And this is really just because we have so many students coming for dinner that we're just excited to be receiving so many guests. And so you'll tell your students that as they walk around campus tomorrow, they're going to see lots of Hillel staff members pointing people in all the different directions of services. We're expecting lots of students to be visiting. And, you know, just a little anecdote for the crowd here, there's so many ways that you could be engaging and supporting students. We have an alumni who reached out and wanted to send bagels from New York City for our Yom Kippur break fast. So we are going to be receiving a special package of bagels from New York. So really only the best for the Brown RISD Hillel community here. And we're so touched to be hearing from alumni and the community just saying that they want to do anything that they can to make Jewish life feel really special and vibrant here. So that's a little bit about High Holidays coming up tomorrow. And right, the next after High Holiday, after Rosh Hashanah ends, you know, this weekend, we're coming up with the 1-year anniversary of October 7th, and I know that's top of mind for everyone on this call. As mentioned already, it's been a difficult year for the Jewish community, a difficult year for our campus community, and we're approaching this in a lot of different ways so that there's opportunities for everybody to be reflecting on this tragic milestone. So on Monday, we will have a full day of events starting at 7:40 a.m. We have our morning service led by Mendel and Jonah. We'll be having installations on the main green. We'll have the empty Shabbat table and some other installations that the students are planning. In the afternoon, our whole team will be out there. We'll be reciting the names of all of the victims of October 7th. And we're going to end the day with a vigil on the main green where we'll hear reflections from our spiritual leaders, our students, and the whole campus community is invited. So that will be the faculty, the administration, the students. So that will be on font steps. So that will take place on Monday. We also have a few other ways for students to be engaging and thinking about this. You know, October 7th is you know, it's a day, but this semester is just the backdrop of the semester is just what is the brokenness in our world and what the Jewish community is dealing with. On Wednesday, October 9th, so that's, I guess, a week from tomorrow, we're bringing in an iconic feminist artist, influencer, Zoe Buckman, who's coming on Wednesday night. She's going to be speaking in front of a live audience at the Avon, which is the indie theater here on Thayer Street. So it's going to be a packed house, and She is somebody who has really been a refreshing voice in this really difficult time, especially for students on social media. She's been a really powerful voice talking about the violence that was committed against women on October 7th, talking about how proud she is to be Jewish, and really she's found her voice in this moment. And so she's going to be interviewed by Coco Rohatyn, who'll be on this call later to talk to us about the event, but this will be a larger conversation about what it means to find your voice in this moment, and how to express yourself creatively with all the things that we're navigating in this world, as all of us are Jewish artists in our own way. And lastly, just want to share that on Simchat Torah, the Hebrew anniversary of October 7th, our rabbis, Jonah and Mendel, have been working with students to learn together the entirety of the Mishnah. So it's 542 chapters. And so each student has taken, there's a bunch of students who are contributing to this project, and they've each taken on a few chapters and a few sections of this, so that on the evening of Simchat Torah, which is October, I believe, 24th or 25th, we are going to be hosting a siyum here. And for any of you coming in for family weekend, you're invited to participate in that, and we'll share more information about that. But just this slide is really just want to emphasize how many entry points there are for people to be reflecting on what it means to be Jewish in this moment, what kind of, how challenging this year has been. And we're excited to be hearing from a lot of our Israeli students and staff, particularly at the vigil.
You know, Molly, if you don't mind me jumping in real quick, you know, I think that it was a mistake, and I'm being reminded of this. It was a mistake not to open this call reflecting on the day that it has been in Israel, past several hours. And I know many of us have family and friends. Our students are there. And so obviously great concern and love, you know, is being directed toward the East, and just important in this dialectic between the joys and the oys of Jewish life. You know, it's really, this has been a time in which we've really felt that day in and day out. So wanted to make sure that we mentioned that before we continued on.
Thank you. Thank you for mentioning that. And this is one of these semesters where we're weaving in between the joy and the oi. And so this next slide is also part of the weaving in between these moments. And so additionally, you know, as I mentioned, we're doing a few different things to commemorate the anniversary of October 7th. And in addition to the things that will be happening in October, we're also going to be partnering with Hill International. They're hosting, they're calling it We Will Dance Again concerts. They're hosting them in major cities, New York, Boston, Philadelphia, and inviting students in surrounding areas to come to a music festival. The venues have capacity for over 1,000 students, and there will be concerts featuring famous Israeli artists like Matisyahu, Eden Golan, and DJs from the Nova Music Festival. So our Israeli emissary, our Israeli Shlicha Yael, is going to be working with students, and we're hoping to send, you know, a few buses of students to be able to partake in this, you know, commemorative, reflective, and also joyful moment to do with other Jewish students. And these are all sorts of different angles at which we're approaching this time. Next, I want to share some things that are coming up in November. We have a dialogue workshop. So we're partnering with Resetting the Table, which is an organization that facilitates dialogue across difference. And so we're going to be inviting students to a workshop to kind of learn how to talk to each other about these difficult moments. This is going to be for students who are approaching, seeing the world and seeing this moment from all sorts of different ways, to be in conversation with each other, facilitated by an external facilitator. This is something that we did last year and got really, really positive feedback. So we're going to be doing this again in later in the fall. We're also going to be hosting a art exhibition here in a few weeks, featuring a printmaking student, Ariella Frankel. She's a senior at RISD, and so we're going to be have her art on our walls. So if you're here for family weekend, either RISD family weekend or Brown family weekend, her show will be up. And you know, we're always really rotating through these phenomenal student artists, getting their art on the walls and being platforms for everything that they're here to do. Lastly, right before Thanksgiving, we're hosting a book talk with New York Times bestselling author Amanda Montell. She'll be here right before the holiday, and she is the bestselling author of Cultish and the Age of Magical Overthinking. She's Jewish and she's really excited to come to Brown. She has some family who went to Brown, and she's excited to talk to students about her career, about being Jewish, and about her newly launched book. So we have all that to look forward to. And then lastly, just want to share that I may have mentioned this in the previous call, but we are really working to send students on all sorts of immersive experiences throughout the year. We're going to be continuing to send volunteer missions to Israel, both over winter break and spring break. We did this as a pilot program last year, and the students really said it was a transformative experience. So we're excited to be creating more opportunities for them to go in cohorts as a cohort from Brown RISD Hillel to be volunteering. We're also planning for the first time an immersive experience to Argentina over spring break. So we're going to be launching that in a few weeks, but we're very excited to be taking students to Buenos Aires and talking to them about global Jewish identity, having them hang out with Hillel in Argentina and meeting other students their age, and kind of thinking broadly about what it means to be 19 years old, a Jewish student, wherever you are in the world. And we're also excited to relaunch our Chai Fellowship, which is an acronym that stands for College Hill Abroad in Israel, which is a fellowship where we support students doing independent projects in Israel. So this is all to come in the coming weeks, but just wanted to paint the picture of all of the many, many things that are going on. And I'm excited. We have a few students here on the call, so I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing and see if we can find those students. But we have a few students on the call who are here to kind of animate for you some of the exciting projects that they've been working on. And so I'm going to see, are Coco and Ava here? I'm going to try to spotlight you guys. Oh, yes. Okay. Pardon us with the tech. This is, okay, we've got Coco, and let's see if we can find Ava. Oh, I found you. Okay, amazing. Thank you everyone for bearing with us with the tech. I'm so excited to introduce Coco and Ava. So I was talking a little bit before about this exciting event where we are bringing in Zoe Buckman. And when you bring in a feminist powerhouse woman, you really need to work with two powerhouse students. And so I'm really excited that I've had the chance to work with Coco and Ava the past few months to bring Zoe to campus. And I really just want you to hear from them, why they're so excited about this project, what they've been doing to work on this. And I'm gonna pass the mic over to the two of you. Maybe Coco, I can pass it to you first. I'm gonna ask you to unmute. Perfect. Okay. Why don't you introduce yourself to everyone and talk a little bit about the Zoe Buckman project, why you're excited about it, and why this timing in this moment is just like the perfect opportunity for our campus to be hearing from her.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Molly. And I just want to thank everyone for being here, and also Hillel for being so supportive when I came to you guys and I was like, I have this crazy idea. Can you guys help me? Because I definitely can't do this alone. I am a senior at Brown, and I study English and art history. And throughout my time here at Brown, I also founded the Brown Art Review, which is the e-art magazine here on campus. And one of my favorite things has been talking to artists and hearing from them and interviewing them. And after obviously what happened last year, I was really shocked by the artist community and disappointed in the way that Jewish voices were being shut down and silenced, and artist activism was being met with hate, and it was causing all these artists to kind of be quiet. And I was really amazed by Zoe's ability to fight through that and to keep going. And I think in the past year, what Molly and I have, spoken about is how she has not only found her voice, but continued to get louder and more positive and more outspoken. And it also kind of bleeds through her art, obviously, because the two for her are very intertwined. And I'm just really excited to talk to her. I feel like it'll be a great way to draw a larger crowd that doesn't necessarily all identify as Jewish, but that want to learn about Judaism and how that, seeps into Zoe's practice, as well as how we can all find our voices within art as activism, and how that's a really powerful tool. And, that's always like when I think back to my favorite moments of Passover, it's seeing all the seven sins as drawings and all of these beautiful, artful things in my life that have actually been big spiritual moments and have really helped me. So I'm just really excited to talk to Zoe and have a great conversation and also expose the whole Brown community to her.
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback off that. I'm Ava. And I think Coco said almost I mean, she did say everything and she said it beautifully. They asked me to be a part of this early this year. And honestly, I was super excited because I'm an artist myself. And I really used to make a lot of political art, which is kind of weird. In high school, I totally did. And I think as the climate got more and more polarized, I pulled away from it. And I am really fascinated by talking to an artist who is so outspoken and learning from her, because I feel like I tried to kind of kill that part of my art practice. And I am really excited to hear from her and hear about how I can bring that and reawaken that part of me again. And I also just, like Coco said, I see art as a connecting tool. I use it as a connecting tool myself. And I think right now, I see a lot of my friends shying away from their Judaism and shying away from the Jewish community. And I think art is a really beautiful way to bring people together. So I see this as a connecting event more than anything else. And I'm really excited to do that. So I hope you all come.
Thank you both so much. And yes, open invitation for anyone in Providence next Wednesday. It's not too late to make plans to come. We're expecting a full house, but you could just mention our names at the door and we'll be excited to help you find a seat. But we're really excited about this event. And I just really want to thank Coco and Ava for dreaming about this with me. And this is kind of how it works here at Hillel. You know, students come with big ideas and they say, I don't know if this is too big of an idea. I don't know if we can pull this off. And then we work together to pull it off. So Ava knows this because last year she ran a huge fashion show, debuted her collection here. And so we're excited to be continuing this creative pipeline and uplifting students' passions. So Coco and Ava, thank you for joining us. I bet we'll have some questions at the end. And so I'm going to unspotlight you for a moment. Well, first, maybe does anyone have any questions while they're here and they're spotlighted? Okay, we got a question. Any talk or possibility of an online link to the program next Wednesday? Thank you so much for asking that. We are going to be filming it. It's not going to be filmed live, but we'll be able to share the link afterwards. So thank you for your interest and really appreciate the enthusiasm about the event. Awesome. Thank you, Coco and Ava. I'm going to remove the pin. Awesome. We are featuring another student. Peter, I hope you're out there. Oh,
I got him.
Okay.
There he
Thank
is.
you, everyone. Okay. Can we go ahead and pin Peter?
He's pinned.
He's pinned. Okay. Is he?
I think so. Can everyone see Peter? Big, beautiful
Okay.
picture of Peter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can.
Okay.
Okay, amazing. Well, Peter, I can't see you, so I'm gonna find you here, but okay, now I can see you. Let's okay, there we go. Peter, how you doing? I can see you're up. I can see the Brown RISD Hill background behind you, so I'm glad to see you. You can't unmute. Okay.
Hold on.
Thank you, everyone, for bearing with us with some of the tech moments here. But
Now
Peter, thank you. We can hear you. Thank you so much for joining us. Why don't you introduce yourself? And I really want everyone to hear about the exciting work that you're doing with Tamid, re-energizing the student chapter. And so I'm going to pass you the mic. And why don't you share a little bit about that and about your leadership this semester?
Of course. Well, firstly, thank you very much, Molly and Rabbi Bolton, for giving me the opportunity to share an update on our Tamid chapter. So hello, everybody. My name is Peter. I'm a senior at Brown. I'm studying economics and international affairs, and I am the co-president of Tamid at Brown, along with Brooke Cohen. So I thought I'd just give a quick rundown of what we do at Tamid, and then I'll share an update about our Brown chapter. So Tamid is a pre-professional finance and consulting club that connects students with Israel through a variety of educational and professional programming. We differentiate ourselves from other business clubs on college campuses through our work with Startup Nation. We're really leveraging Israel's miracle economy. And we offer 3 tracks, education, consulting, and fund. So in education, new members begin with a semester that basically covers basic business principles, professional development skills through our Tamid curriculum and case studies. And then after completing 1 semester of education, students then have the option to join the consulting or fund track. Within the consulting track, students work on projects with Israeli companies across various industries and sizes, gaining practical experience and basic consulting skills, so market research or industry analysis or pricing strategies. And then within fund students focus on investment research and valuation methods such as DCFs or LBOs and stock pitch competitions as well, which actually influence Tamid's global fund. So the structure of our fund lends itself to a model where students really get hands-on business training and then have the ability to apply theory to practice with real-world Israeli companies and stocks. And in total, our national organization spans 57 chapters with over 4,000 members. So for our chapter at Brown, I've been a member of Tamid at Brown for 3 years now. And unfortunately, over the last year or so, the chapter really suffered significant attrition to the point that we were actually deactivated by Brown's Student Activities Office over the summer, which was around the same time that Brooke and I assumed leadership of the club. So really in the wake of October 7th and what I perceive to be fervent anti-Zionist and anti-Semitic sentiment on campus, I saw Tamid as a great platform and avenue to strengthen connections between Brown students, both Jewish and non-Jewish alike, to Israel and showcase its incredible economy. So Brooke and I, we started planning action steps over the summer to really restructure and revitalize the club in order to really realize our full potential at Brown. And so despite being technically deactivated, which meant that we couldn't have a table at activities fair, we're technically not allowed to book a college or book a room on our campus for meetings, we were still able to recruit over 40 new students to the club this year, bringing our total membership to over 60 students. And really, I want to sincerely thank Rabbi Bolton and Molly and Lori and the rest of the Hillel staff for offering us a room for our meetings, for offering us food as well. And all of our efforts wouldn't be possible without them. And I also think that it's worth noting that as per our global charter, we're a strictly secular and pre-professional apolitical club. But at the same time, I think that the way in which our club connects students to Israel, whether it's working on a consulting project with an Israeli tech startup or completing a 10-week fellowship in Tel Aviv or attending an Israeli finance speaker series, it really offers unparalleled exposure to Israel and its economy in a way that students wouldn't otherwise access on the news. And it helps Brown students really gain a deeper and more accurate understanding of Israel. And I think that the more students that we have on Brown's campus that have this clearer vision of what Israel is and what it stands for, the more effective our collective efforts can be in really dispelling so many of the fallacies that plague Middle East discourse and kind of disambiguating the moral confusion between Israel and its adversaries that is present on so many liberal arts campuses across the country. So yeah, that's kind of an update on Tamid.
And Peter, I just want to thank you. I know that the chapter meeting is actually taking place as we speak right now, somewhere else in the building. So thank you for taking 5-10 minutes to be with us. And maybe you can give us just like a quick view into what the agenda of the meeting this evening has been.
This meeting, we start as always with 30 minutes of education, and then we are doing a quick spotlight on our fellowship. So informing students what to include in their applications, how to differentiate themselves. And then we're also kind of getting to the real substance of our consulting project. So we finished the project scope in which we have the general outline of the project. And now we're kind of getting into the nuts and bolts of that, as well as preparing our first stock pitch of the semester for fund. Just
a Tuesday night at Brown RISD Hillel. It's great. That's
And
great.
I'm happy to answer any further questions at any time about the chapter. I think it's a really exciting moment, and we have really immense potential to achieve.
Thanks, Peter.
Of course, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Peter. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to send them in the chat. And we will try to get to them. Peter, I know you have to run back to your meeting. So thank you so much for being a part of this. And we all want to follow what you're doing. So when you launch, your Instagram or your newsletter, let us know, because you have a lot of fans in the audience. Awesome. Thank you for being here. And so lastly, I'm gonna hand it back to Josh, but just want to say, if anyone wants to follow up on any of these items, please don't hesitate to reach out to me anytime. Just want to wish everyone a Shana Tova, and thank you so much for your support to our programming here. And I'm looking forward to being in touch with all of you. Thanks.
Molly, I realized there was one more thing that I wanted to share with everyone before we get to questions. And, we sometimes talk about, I have a mentor in this world who sometimes talks about Brown RISD Hillel as a place that we are painting on the canvas of the Jewish American future. And sometimes that's metaphorical canvas, and sometimes that's a real canvas. Many know that we are one of the first Hillels in the country, first campus Jewish communities in the country that has developed a really substantial arts and culture program, not just because arts is connected to us through RISD, but also because of the role that creativity plays in the lives of students at Brown as well. And over the past couple of weeks, a Brown student named Jake Shakett has been working on the first of what I believe are going to be two epic kind of massive murals. These are, I included the step ladder so you can kind of get a sense of the scale. This is a 25-foot by 7-foot canvas. And in the course of two canvases, he's going to depict the narrative of Jewish history in his mind. And unbelievably, these two pieces of canvas are going to become the body of the exterior of a sukkah that will be built on Riston Quad, right by the new kosher dining facilities. So again, we just see so much thoughtfulness, creativity, energy on every single level that students bring. And he came to me a little while ago. He said, "It's done." And I had to take a picture. I said, "I want to show this to everyone tonight." You have to imagine 300 students in the social hall for Olive Street Shabbat with an earlier version, of this in the background. It's just really remarkable, and something that we should all be inspired by and take hope from. I know we're about to get to a couple of questions. We've got about 10 minutes. I just want to say, if you're on our mailing list, then you'll have seen, today we began our annual campaign. And I began that campaign by noting that over the course of the past year, we were beset by challenges that were really unprecedented. We all were, but Jewish students on university campuses took the brunt of it. And, while this community should be proud of the ways in which our students stood up, we managed to thrive. The fact is that it was not an easy year. And in the course of that year, I would say almost nearly 700 members of our community stepped up to support Jewish life in a really record-breaking manner. And the fact is, we've come into this next year, this 2024, 2025 year, with really big plans. We've brought on new staff. We have a lot more money for student programming and leadership. We've developed new projects in mentorship. We are going to Israel. We're really transforming BRH into a global launch pad. And so our response to the calls for divestment have been a major investment in Jewish life and the infrastructure of Jewish life. And we're turning to you all, both myself, Brown RISD Hillel, Chabad of College Hill. We work together and we are appealing to our widest community. If you stepped up in the past year, to step up again in support of the programming and the students who are here on campus today, and really to help make sure that that ground is strong, but also the ground for future generations of Jewish students and Jewish life here on campus remain firm. I think that some of you all remember, if you were on the first call, we are moving towards, in the fall of next year, the university celebrating 130 years of Jewish life at Brown. And a number of the members of the steering committee are on this call. Don't worry, I'm not going to put you on the spot like you had last time, but this is a moment of Jewish flourishing, and we are moving towards a direction of celebration. And so we really are inviting everyone to join with us to find a landing pad for yourself. If you are interested in mentoring students on campus, please let us know. If you are interested in sending bagels for breakfast, let us know. But please, I hope everyone will find a way of supporting Chabad and supporting Hillel here as we round out the second half of the semester. Malia, I haven't been paying too much attention to the questions. Are there any questions that are floating out there or if folks want to ask any questions, you can drop them in the chat. We have a few more minutes here. I saw that, Naomi, you asked, how do you reinstate the club? We are working with the Campus Life professional team to reinstate Tamid. It will be reinstated. There's a normal kind of rolling application process that will make sure. Who's the main contact for the mentorship program? I'm really excited. Maybe we could put a link to Mika from our website. This year, we were really excited to welcome Mika Aviad, who came to us by way of Boston University, Hillel. And Mika is our coordinator for mentorship and I'm about to drop the coordinator for mentorship and networking, something like that, helping students to connect with our broad network of alumni, parents, to grow BRH and the Jewish community as a platform for students, both while their time is here on campus, but well beyond into their future. We know that students come here seeking mentorship and seeking vocational opportunities and connections, and we realize that we sit on kind of an unusually strong network that we can activate. And Maytal, you're asking, can we include medical students for the mentoring initiative? The answer is absolutely. And by the way, I just want to mention, since Maytal brought it up, we've seen strength in a number of different vectors. One of the most interesting points of strength that we've been able to witness this semester is 3 or 4 students from the medical school have reorganized or shaped a Jewish affinity group at the Alper Medical School, and their opening event brought in 75 students and faculty and administrators to a Shabbat on the BRH terrace several weeks ago. And again, just one of those things that this is a moment we got to take advantage of. This moment. It's like Mendel's story of Shneur Zalman wrapping tefillin with everyone and the desire to wrap tefillin. There is a desire out there. There's a Jewish longing, and so we really are making sure that no matter what prism students need to pass through, that it's available for them here. So if you are interested in connecting with Mika, I strongly encourage you to do that. Please reach out to Molly, to myself, or directly to Mika, actually. Yeah, I see the question just a little bit more. Is the mentoring about career and professionalism, or is it more closely tied to Judaism? Steve Beck asked that. And I would say, I guess it depends. Our hope is that it's a little bit of both, or a lot of both. Fantastic. Any other questions for us? Great. Bob Boyarsky, please. I'm going to let you unmute. You can talk.
Thanks. First of all, there's so many supporters on this call, both as far as time, emotionally. We have 4 of our trustees on the call also who give a lot of time to the students on campus. So first, for the people on the call that have supported BRH emotionally, financially, with your children here, thank you very, very much. But I also want to make the point that a lot of what's happening isn't by accident. And I really want to give a yasher koach and a thanks to Mendel and to Josh and to Molly and to our staff, because this summer, as Abby Dofto, I think most of you or all of you know, said it had to be a summer of action, and there was very little vacation time. They got some time with the family, but then they got to work. And I think it was Coco who said, I had this crazy idea with Zoe. And I think Molly said, well, we've been working on this for a couple months. So I think one of the things is that we have a very good balance. And there's a balance with innovation and supporting students, but in this really, really difficult environment and in this tough year, I think those of us that are trying from the board, they're trying to set the tone, is that we needed more thoughtfulness about what our talented staff was going to bring as well. And it could be religious, it could be cultural, it could be social. So you got the tip of the iceberg. I think some of you know some of the layers here. I think any of us that are on the board, and I know our staff, if there's certain areas that are of special interest to you and you want to dig deeper, and I certainly would encourage you with the mentoring and networking. And in fact, I know Josh said, kind of bring in your own interests, but I think we should also send out to everybody on the group just an email to make it kind of easy. If you want to talk with any of the staff or the trustees, please do so. So with that said, again, to Mendel, Josh and Molly, thank you very much. Thanks for all the supporters, and a Shana Tova to everyone here.
Thanks, Bob. I'll wrap with just 2 points. Number one, I just put into the chat link to both BRH and Chabad of Brown's websites. Please, explore those sites, and please consider supporting Jewish life on College Hill in this season. And secondly, I want to make a plug for Brown Family Weekend. If you've never joined us, or if you have joined us for Family Weekend, I think that the Jewish community does Family Weekend really well. It's a lot of fun. This year happens to also be Simchat Torah, and I recognize that's challenging for some families if they're coming from a more observant background. It might be fun also for families, who want to join us for that. If you've never been on a college campus for Simchat Torah, you really don't know what it's impossible to describe, actually. I really hope that you can be with us. But Family Weekend is the final weekend of October. I believe it's the 25th, 26th, 27th. And we really encourage and invite everyone to join us, to spend Shabbat together, and to participate in all of the wonderful elements of Family Weekend. More broadly, if there's any RISD families on this call, we also have plans for the prior week, which I believe is the 19th, 20th, 21st, which is RISD Family Weekend. All of that information has been sent out via email. If you're not on our email list, we'll be sure to follow up, and you can sign up as well. Great, Molly's dropping some of that in there. And finally, I just want to close with thanks, as Bob, president of our board, opened with. It's not just that the support of the community is kind of a vote of confidence in the work that we're doing day in and day out, and we truly are doing it day in, night in. It's a 25-hour-a-day job, but I can't stress enough that your support makes a direct and immediate impact in students' lives here, and goes right to supporting Jewish community, Jewish continuity, Jewish joy. And there's a lot of great student leaders on this campus who are turning to us, like some of the students we met tonight, saying, here's what I need to make this amazing thing happen. Here's what I need in order to express myself and to show up as the Jew Jewish leader that I could be. And we want to be not only be saying, of course, we got you, but we want to say, and bring your friends and let us know how they want to be leaders as well. So we've made incredible progress over the past few years. This is an opportunity. We don't want to miss this opportunity. And we just thank everyone for your support, for your future support. And I hope that we can all celebrate together in person sometime soon. And as it's 7 o'clock, I want to give everyone the rest of their evening back. And I wish everyone Shana Tova Mituka. May it be a good and sweet and wonderful year for all of us, for all the Jewish people, and for the entire world. Be well, everyone. Thank you.